Cutting wood today, I thought the perfect bite would be to have some morning dove. It's a simple dish. I can do a little bit of rice and do everything in one pan. But the first thing I had to do is get a good fire going. You can see the coals here are white hot. I'd start about an hour beforehand, and you can see I've got my trusty cast iron. I almost never go anywhere without it. This will allow me to make a really, really nice dish. It's easy to clean up, and everything packed out in just a small bag. So let's get started. Just a little bit of coriander seed. We've got a little bit of a Vietnamese flair going today, and you'll see that with a few of the ingredients. But the coriander seed, while it'll give really good flavor, if I toast it first, it'll really, really hit it hard. No need to put oil in the pan, and it's really easy to pack out. Have a look at that as it starts to toast up. It's gonna brown nicely, and when it does, I'm gonna crush it just slightly. With that coriander seed nicely toasted, the next thing I want to do is put some fat in the pan. Now I'd love to use some goose fat, or in this case I've got some really nice butter. But before I put that in, because that pan is ripping hot, I have to get a few of the ingredients ready to go in that'll take some of that heat and prevent that butter from burning. So I'm going to put in some of these beautiful little chilies. I'm going to put shallots, garlic, and I've got lemongrass. Now this was lemongrass from last season that I had frozen. So I'm going to slice that up. I'm going to do all the prep for these, and I'm going to get it in the pan. I want to make sure to do it in bite-sized pieces. The only thing I'm going to leave is the garlic. Now the garlic itself, I'm going to break off whole cloves, and you'll see I'm going to leave unpeeled cloves, toss those in. What that'll do is it'll flavor that beautifully, but it won't burn over the fire. Lemongrass is so bright and it's citrusy, and when you add heat to it, it will absolutely light this up. You can see I've got a little bit of everything going. The heat is going to take and caramelize those beautiful shallots. I'll get a little bit of actual hot pepper flavor from those little chilies, and then that gorgeous lemongrass, well, that's really gonna flavor these beautiful little birds. Got a nice jasmine rice. You can see I've had to restoke the fire, and that's something you're gonna wanna have on hand, is wood that's about this size and a little bit bigger. That way, if you need to increase the temperature just slightly, you can add a couple more pieces. Now, with the white rice in, this is a jasmine rice, the portion is 1 portion of rice to 2 portions of water. And I'm just gonna use the residual heat on this rock. Isn't that gorgeous? That will cook the rice nicely. I can cover it and just more or less set it and forget it. Now listen, if the fire gets really ripping hot, make sure to check on the rice. All it needs is just a little bit of seasoning, and I brought a little package of a beautiful smoked salt. You know, when you're outdoors like this, it's a perfect opportunity to use some really exciting ingredients. Applewood? I think so. The first thing I want you to do is take their beautiful little bodies and kind of bathe them in that butter. And as you put each one in, normally I would have seasoned this already with salt and pepper. The problem is when you're outdoors, a lot of times it gets really dry. So that skin was dry. Now what I can do is I can season it with salt and pepper and get it so it'll stick to the birds, making sure they get fully seasoned. Are you looking at this? Oh. Fish sauce. So, ingredient you may not think about when we're talking about these beautiful doves, but fish sauce has so much flavor and is such an incredible component in a dish like this. It's gonna bring some real richness, I promise you. Those who eat it won't know what it is, but it's one of those special ingredients that you'll be glad you packed in. One thing you always want to make sure to have on hand is a little bit of water. So you're not going to hurt anything by adding a bit, but if the pan gets away from you just a little bit, what you want to do, just add a little bit of water, and that will prevent any burning. It just helps you temper that pan temperature. The red pepper, I want you to slice it really thin. And when you do, just slice it into rings. The one thing you don't want to be out here is fussy. Don't worry about the seeds, they'll taste great. Just chop it up nice and thin, and this goes directly in. Trimmed and sliced in half, the fennel has a heart that needs to be removed. And all you have to do is just simply slide your knife down on either side, then turn it flat and slice it as thin as you can. You want those to be tender. They are going to be fragrant and beautiful. Perfect complement to that sweet dove. Thinly sliced, this will add a nice amount of flavor, but the other thing when you're cooking outdoors that this fennel will do, and other products like the fennel, is there's enough water in them that as you add it in, it continues to keep this humid and it prevents burning. It's a great way to really temper the pan as you cook, making sure to always keep your fire hot. You can see those coals are still white hot, and I just keep feeding in little pieces every now and then. It smells great. Just twist off the top of the parsley and feed it into the pan. You'll see I've also reserved some of the fennel fronds. If you have any of those, put those in as well. You can see the color development is coming along nicely. Now it's key to just give it some time to come together. I want to show you that in just about 25 minutes time, these are the results that you can have. As long as you put the rice in with the right amount of liquid, you'll get light and fluffy rice right here at the fireside. Now to finish it up, just a touch of acidity. So I'm going to hit it with lime. That's going to bring some real brightness, and it's very classic. I'm going to take those limes and I'm going to nestle them down to pick up any flavor off the bottom. Essentially what this does is deglaze. With both of them in, I'm going to finish with some honey. I've got a nice wildflower honey. These little jars are perfect for that. You can see how cold it is as the honey drips out. My goodness. But this honey is going to be, as if this dish wasn't sweet enough, this little bit of honey is going to absolutely coat these beauties to perfection. As that melts all together, what you'll be left with is a dish that's well balanced and really makes great use of these beautiful little birds.